Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the Anything Wrestling Podcast. Thank you once again for joining us. Today we got a one-on-one match. It is the Shant.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Commish, and I will be the one-on-one factor and the advocate of this podcast.
Brought to you by the WWE Network, where you can catch all your favorite WWE programming for a non-negotiable but very reasonable price of only $9.99.
Not $1,000?
It's not $10. $9.99.
And brought to you by WWE.com, where you can find all the latest about shows, superstars, tickets, and events, and a quick link to the WWE Network.
We are here today to discuss and review SmackDown 1000.
Woo!
And capping off a milestone episode. And I gotta say, I very much hold SmackDown with a lot of prestige. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball there for a couple of years, but the last couple months they've really done a good job of building it back up as the brand to watch out of Raw and 205 Live and just anything that's
I think what it is that, you know, when SmackDown first started, like, you have to keep this in mind as a WWE Universe fan. This was a show that was spontaneously created by, again, the fearless leader that we see in Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Not only as a new branded show for the WWE, but he named this after one of his prized superstars in the day, during which we still regard as one of the greatest eras, the Attitude Era. He named it after The Rock. Like, that says a lot in itself. And then to stay around for 1,000 episodes.
Basically, he did it
for The Rock. And it's had its good moments, had its WTF moments. It's this is awesome. It's stale. And as of recent, in the last few months, it's prominence. Now, as a Shane McMahon said, welcome to the A Show.
Exactly. So let's, in the words of DX, let's break it down. So we start off the show with Truth TV.
Which had been canceled prior to that.
I think that R-Truth and Carmella bounce off of one another. I think that it's inevitable that these two, you know, should have come together. And the whole thing, this is where I kind of had a problem with it. I'm like, okay, here we go. Very much Raw tactic-like to have Stephanie come out and say, welcome to the 1000th episode, and then followed up by Shane, and then followed up by Vince. You know, for a second I thought there might be like a major superstar that comes out and maybe like, you know, has like a segment with the whole McMahon family. But McMahon comes out and says dance break, and everyone just starts dancing, and then we kind of segue into the next thing.
Well, the thing is, it's like, okay, this is what I have to say about it, and I'm glad that Vince came out to kind of stop it, because he kind of made the point. It's like nobody cares to see Stephanie constantly ruin things, Shane and her battle it out. Who's the better sibling with the better show? And to be honest, right now it is Shane. He is the older of the two. He does know what he's doing, especially with the fact that he left for 6 years to develop himself as his own person, as his own type of CEO and everything. So he knows what it is to keep a business successful. And I think he's used those qualities within the last couple of months, if not years, for SmackDown. I mean, he could have done it for Raw, and maybe Raw would have been the better show now. But no, this time, Stephanie was a GM at one point for SmackDown, but it's been reversed. And I personally think that Shane has come a long way in promoting a better show. Granted, he's not on TV as much, but he knows what he's doing.
But he doesn't have to be, and I think that's
smart.
That's the key thing, is we've talked about this before, along with Dan the Man. Stephanie often would come out and have these 20-25 minute in-ring promo segments,
And slap someone like she usually does to disrespect them.
And it's like that other person, because we're in such a PG reality era, that other person could not retaliate in any way, shape, or form. So Stephanie basically berates a superstar for 25 minutes.
She buries him.
And there goes...
She's pulling her husband's tactics.
And there goes half an hour of your show.
Shane doesn't do that. Shane just lets whoever is in charge run it. She's letting Paige run the show, which she's doing an amazing job herself.
Great job.
The Usos versus Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. Now, I haven't seen the Usos on TV for a while, actually.
I haven't either.
It's kind of odd we get them back, but it's also kind of great that we get them back at the right time, especially for this match. And you're just like, okay, this is entertaining. You know, what angle are we going to go with this, especially since we have the two competitors of Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles about to face each other in a couple weeks at Crown Jewel. What was your take on this?
I felt like, the Usos were missing for quite some time, which was a tremendous shame because the Usos were once again the definition of consistency, week in, week out, promos, segments, matches, memorable moments. Then they were just kind of taken away. The tag team division in SmackDown is full, and that's why I feel like not everyone's able to get that airtime each and every week. But I felt like with the Usos coming back, getting a win over AJ and Daniel Bryan due to miscommunication helps build the Usos, and then simultaneously helps build AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan for Crown Jewel.
Again, another smart tactic in the matter of writing and creative, coming with a good job, developing two stories at the same time.
Yes.
It was a good match. I mean,
I thought it was fine. What I was watching on kept on freezing, so it would go in and out. But shocking to have the Usos win all of a sudden after coming back. But I think once again that's how you kind of preserve everyone, is by having one team win and the other team, because of miscommunication, you build their feud, and there you go.
Moving on. Evolution reunion.
Here we go.
So let's just lay this out now. This team never made an appearance on WWE SmackDown.
Which I caught before the 1000th episode, I was like, that's kind of counterproductive, because if a team hasn't been on SmackDown, why would you bring them back? But I feel like something came out of it. It's because, okay, so Evolution comes out, everyone grabs the microphone in intervals and kind of gives a little speech. What Dave Bautista said, and I'm not talking about what he said to Ric Flair, keep it in your pants. I'm talking about that moment where he said, there's something that this man has not done, point at Triple H, except beat me. Now, I'm going to be very honest, I would love to see this at a WrestleMania, Triple H versus Batista.
I think someone painted a picture that's like a WWE fan on Instagram through social media. To see those two at 35 battle it out. And granted, it's not that it would be burying Batista, but it'd be Batista giving Triple H maybe not an unwanted push. But again, it is a match that we've never really seen them actually show Triple H being the victor.
Yeah, and I swear to God, if someone comes out and says, oh, Triple H, he wants to bury... Guys, he's put over people in 5 consecutive WrestleManias already. So
that's
he's
5 years, and people calm down about...
His last one was Sting, that he actually won. In 2015. So, no, it's been 3 years. But...
either way, it's Sting. Sting doesn't have to be put over.
Doesn't that sting?
It's the man they call Sting. But here's the thing, Triple H isn't trying to bury people anymore. If anything, Triple H knows what the brand is. He knows how to promote wrestlers that deserve it. And yeah, that reunion ended on a tense note, but it was actually kind of fun seeing the four of them together again.
Because it would be no point. Yeah, they come. This is Evolution, and okay, SmackDown 1000, great exit ring.
And it's not just because, granted, that Randy is a full timer on SmackDown. I mean, yeah, that gives leeway to them coming in, but why not? I mean, They're still one of the best groups that Triple H has been in.
Absolutely.
Let's see. We now move on to another World Cup qualifying match that took place that night. The Miz versus Rusev Day. Rusev.
It's always Rusev Day in Milwaukee.
Oh, Lana. That one night in Milwaukee.
Where nothing happened.
So she says.
So the Miz wins. So he goes on, and then
Quick question, not to interrupt. What's Lana backwards in Milwaukee? Moving forward.
I'll get it soon. Here's the thing. I feel like Rusev, in a very weird way, has been losing consecutively, but by the same token, is also built up. As weird as that sounds.
I think it would have been better to have him win just because it makes the World Cup more diverse. Because we discussed this on a previous episode of the show that the World Cup tournament doesn't look as diverse. You have 8 Americans and Rey Mysterio. I just spoiled the last match of SmackDown 1000, but either way. Have Rusev in there, you give him more diversity. And plus, you build him up even more, but he's already getting a build up with a defeat. You don't really see that.
Ironically.
And it's becoming a good thing. I mean, granted that, you have something going on with Rusev and Aiden English, and all of a sudden it's becoming like this weird rivalry.
Which I like.
Like, where do you go at this point? With Rusev. Like, Rusev has always been, I think, one of the best competitors in the last few years now. The fact that you've gone into a couple WrestleManias almost headlining, but you have big entrances at one of the biggest shows of the year.
Yeah.
Come on, like, the guy's time has already come. Like, let's give it to him.
Yeah, I feel like, Rusev got that one match with AJ for the championship. He lost fair and square, but then there was no build-up. We just moved on to Samoa Joe. That's where I think SmackDown starts showing a little bit of their flaws, but I think Rusev needs to start winning because, yeah, you can take a couple losses and still get your momentum going, but if you're losing time after time after time after time...
Your momentum drops vastly.
Really, yes.
Moving on. We have the incomparable, the amazing. Hurts me to say that he's still retired, and I wish he never did retire. Former SmackDown legend, Edge, returning for the 1000th episode, bringing us another episode of the amazing The Cutting Edge, and inviting possibly the greatest SmackDown Women's Champion,
There it is.
Becky Lynch, onto The Cutting Edge.
And Charlotte.
And the 8-time getting over pushed, even though I still love her, Charlotte Flair.
So here's the thing. I think that this was a good dynamic to bring Edge back. I liked where it was going, but that last comment made by Becky, I don't hate it, but I don't agree with it. And here's the thing. It's like, yeah, Edge was obviously told beforehand that, hey, I'm going to say this, so, just a heads up, but...
It still kind of felt like it was real. Like, it didn't matter if it was pre-told. If you felt it when she was cocky about how she loves herself and that, don't hurt your neck on the way out. It's like, dude, a neck injury is not something to really play with in any facet of professional sports or wrestling ever.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that have hurt themselves that have been forced to retire in the prime of their careers. And this adds more to it. And I think because of that, it built up Charlotte to take advantage of getting an offensive strike in again. Because lately, like we've said, we don't want to see this rivalry get stale, that it's all one-sided. In any great rivalry, you're always going to have one or the other put each other over no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen this, and I think, and it's very discussed, Triple H has been the best person to put people over in rivalries, even if he's burying them. Like, he always has given the advantage to, like, whoever he's gone up against, whether it's The Rock, Batista, Shawn Michaels, whoever, you know? And with this, that Charlotte gets her opportunity now, it's like, okay, this rivalry's not stale. It's still going very well. Now, let's see how much further we can go. I like this segment. I didn't like the comment. I told you personally, I thought that was a little too far.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's still a great show.
Yes. Charlotte came in, they started brawling, and then it was just kind of broken up.
So moving forward with the show, we have The Bar versus The New Day. Along with that, there is other things that we did have. We did get to see former SmackDown commentators, the former five-time WCW
champion
Booker T and the incomparable, funny, I love him, Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler back at ringside in their own personal table brought out by the New Day. I think they built it beforehand.
I think they built it beforehand.
Filled with just nothing but like orange and pancakes. But they were commentating as well. They were giving their opinions. That's what kind of bugged me, that they would cut into the commentary of the regular team. I'm like, why don't you just give it to Booker and the King?
Let them have one.
Like, let them have the whole match, not step in every now and then.
Yeah. For the record.
Okay.
So this match is going on, and all of a sudden Big Show's theme hits.
Well,
The second when I heard that, I'm like, heel turn.
it's the big slow. Oh, I'm sorry. Show.
It's the big turn.
Come on, man. The guy has done so many heel turns, so many face turns. At this point, you're like,
Yeah, but
how many more, Show? How many more?
I'm telling you, the second I heard his theme song, I knew it was coming. I just knew it. I'm like, the New Day is already 3 people. Cesaro and Sheamus is only 2 guys. Gee, I wonder which sideshow is going on. WWE's logic. But Kofi Kingston gets chokeslammed through the table, and the Bar becomes your new WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Granted that Big E was distracted with everything going on outside the ring, and of course the Bar took advantage of that. I thought this tag team match was great. The Bar has been due for a championship run for a while now. We've said on this show that Cesaro and Sheamus together have probably been the best thing ever, as opposed to their rivalry, even though their rivalry is becoming as legendary as it was. I like that they won the tag belts. I don't like the fact that we had to have the Big Slow make that happen. But again, I'm not a part of the creative team, although I do agree with this. Joe, just pick one side and stick to it already, man. Like, seriously.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about this.
Moving on to what was the main event of the whole night. Shinsuke Nakamura, the SmackDown United States World Champion, against Mr. Luchador, Mr. 619,
619.
Rey Mysterio. We've been waiting for his return for I don't know how long now. It's been in discussion for like what, almost a couple years?
Yes.
And what better time than now?
Who better than Canyon?
Oh, there's a lot of people better than Canyon, but that's
Awesome.
I think that's a longer list than the list.
What's the list?
The list of 1,004 submission holds.
What's move 1004?
That'd be the armbar.
So I think that this match was pretty cool.
Mind you, this is also a qualifying match for the World Cup.
Yes. I thought this match was great. In an ideal pay-per-view world, give these guys 30 minutes and they'll blow the roof off the place.
They could have stolen the show. I mean, what better show than to put it on the 1,000th episode? But if you given him more time, I think you would have got the best out of both worlds.
And honestly, Shinsuke is once again one of those examples of like, yeah, he got the U.S. title put on him, but what happened afterwards is a complete blur.
Like, it's like they're not even... Like, I feel like that belt is now becoming very irrelevant. It's not having as much as prestige. And it sucks because it's like, it's on SmackDown. Everything's going good on that show. Like...
Well, you're going to have a couple hiccups, of course.
Yeah. There's never a perfect cognitive machine that works. At its best.
No, that even had its it had its things, right to censor. With Stevie Richards.
Yeah, okay.
But I felt like it was a great match. I'm glad to see Rey Mysterio on the blue brand, exactly where he belongs. You can only imagine the types of matches he'll have with Daniel Bryan and AJ and Rusev and all those guys.
And don't underestimate him. You can put him in a match with those guys, and he will still give you a show.
He'll give you a show. No doubt.
He's done it against Batista. He's done it against...
And he looks good now, too. He looks all muscular and like really fit.
He's in better shape than he ever was.
Absolutely. However, after the match, in an attempt to barely squeeze in this legend, you got The Undertaker coming out.
Which at first, as we all remember The Undertaker's history with SmackDown, when he was drafted on the SmackDown, it wasn't the greatest of moments, but eventually the Dead Man did make that his show.
The Dead Man was walking to SmackDown.
Yeah, it was a push to DX, since we have the Crown Jewel tag match coming up. Final moments of SmackDown 1000 just to end the show.
Literally a 6-word promo.
But does he ever need that long of a promo? No, not really.
Again, when you know that something is forced and squeezed and just for the sake of it being there, you can pretty much see through it. I felt like Undertaker... I don't know.
You love The Undertaker.
I do.
You do. But you felt like, what, this wasn't really needed?
I think he needed to be there because it's SmackDown. I'm glad he was there. I just felt like he could have maybe done something else. Have a 3-minute real promo or just do something else,
I think this is just how I would have ended the show. Don't get me wrong, I love The Undertaker. Maybe I would have put him in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
If it was possible to get him in, because obviously the man has a busy schedule now. If we could have got The Rock back, I mean, it's his show. It's literally The Rock's show, SmackDown. If you would have brought him out, have him cut a promo, who could have interfered in the middle of his promo? You could have had The Miz cut in. You could have had, who's the next biggest heel on SmackDown?
Samoa Joe.
You could have had any one of them cut in the middle, call him out, say like you're just a part-timer, barely here, now you want to come back, and then obviously, The Rock does what he does best.
Lay it to smack it down.
People's elbow, rock bottom. Obviously claim that he's back home. I think I would have ended the show like that.
I would have liked that, kind of like a comedy act with The Rock, very memorable. I will say this, a lot of people, I saw the YouTube comment section, and everyone was like, oh, very lackluster, underwhelming, not good. The very first thing I did, when the last logo went through the screen, I'm like, okay, Raw 25, SmackDown 1000. Yeah, SmackDown 1000 doing less, did a whole lot more.
In 2 hours... Mind you, Raw 25 almost felt like 4 fucking hours.
In 2 different arenas.
And it was such a bad show.
The only thing salvageable, in my opinion, was Austin and McMahon.
In the beginning of the show?
Yeah, which was like my SummerSlam nightmare coming true because you have the opening of the show, which is great, and everything just falls to shit.
Mind you guys, Sean does not let that go. It's not his fault. He has a lot of strong feelings about... SummerSlam.
Never mind.
But yeah, I just think that people are not understanding that the A show is the better show. They're not getting the fact that not everything is gonna be always a number one hit. You have to understand they're trying to still keep things relevant while celebrating something impactful, something big.
I mean, in all honesty, I can remember when Raw 25 was like, when it was coming up, I saw WWE articles, oh, this legend's coming back. Oh, that legend's coming back. Oh, that legend's coming back. This legend is coming back. That legend's coming back. And I'm like, where are you going to fit everyone on the show? They're like, APA is coming back. Godfather is coming back. Sexual Chocolate is coming back. Steve Austin is coming back. DX is coming back. Undertaker is coming back. I'm like, how are you going to fit everyone on the show exactly? But you see, SmackDown kept everything in moderation. Okay, we got a few legends of yesteryear coming back, but also we have some current day superstars who are going to have a say in the show and are going to have some matches as well. Which is why I'm like, you know what? I would rather have SmackDown have less and do more than have more and do less.
Or have more and do nothing. Because let's face it, like, Raw had a lot more, had a lot more time, had a lot more people. Just felt like nothing. It felt very lackluster. And granted, this is coming from someone who's coming back into getting familiarized with the WWE again. I did see Raw 25 live, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was excited at some parts. The fact that you kick off the show with honoring Vince, having the man who kind of built him up even bigger than what he's become, be there with Stone Cold. And then it's like, it's still an episode of Raw. Like, that's bad to say.
It's not a celebration, damn it.
Yeah, it's just, it's another episode of fucking Raw. Good lord. How long is this show? Oh.
Bathroom break, anyone? No, yeah. Was it the best SmackDown in the world? No, not at all. Was it the worst? No, not at all.
No, there's been a lot more horrible episodes of SmackDown.
Vicky Guerrero.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
No, she. You want to talk about a genuine heel? Vicky Guerrero was the.
Oh, she sold it. The girl sold it very
And actually,
well.
ironically, on her very last night on Raw, she became a full-blown face. So, if you could do that, you're special. So yeah, guys, there you go. We just discussed SmackDown, the 1000th episode. And if you missed SmackDown, you can catch it on the WWE Network for a non-negotiable but very reasonable price of only $9.99.
And just keep in mind, it may take a while to get on the network.
Yeah, for those of you wondering, there's a copyright policy. When they air an episode, they gotta wait like a month before putting it on the network. So, but I'm guessing by the time some of you hear this, it's already gonna be there. So, you're welcome. So there you go, guys. We just discussed SmackDown 1000. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all next time.